So Dominic, first of all, you're saying that every millisecond counts. Why is that?
Every millisecond counts for virtual reality because you want people to have a very good experience. When they move their head from one side to the other, you don't want to have a delay. You actually want for those people to have the image changing at that very moment when they are changing their head direction as well. Because otherwise, they might be having not as good of a VR experience as everyone hopes they have.
But at the same time, it's still not possible to have like a wireless experience when you wear like glasses, for example. Isn't that complicating the whole experience when there are still wires around you?
Wireless is a little bit tricky because you're adding extra latency into the pipeline. So usually what you want to do is keep the motion to photon latency, so from the moment you move your head till the photons hitting your retina to be under 20 milliseconds. If you're doing wireless transmission on top of that, you're adding a couple of milliseconds. And because every millisecond counts, you don't really want to do that. So you have to come up with a wireless transmission system that is super, super low latency because you can't afford more than like 4 or 5 milliseconds for that transmission part.
And how many milliseconds are we looking at right now? Like the best, for the best stuff?
The best stuff right now is under that limit of 20 milliseconds. So if you're rendering at a frame rate of 90 frames per second, the whole rendering process takes 11 milliseconds out of those 20 milliseconds. So essentially, you have only 9 milliseconds for the computational for the computing of the head position, for what the GPU has to do, how to render. All of these different things are in like this. All of that is within 9 milliseconds. But right now, the best experiences are already there. They are under 20 milliseconds, and they give a very, very comfortable experience for most VR users.
And why are you so interested in all these things with milliseconds? And I would think that it would be a little bit tiring to work with milliseconds every day. It's very frustrating.
It's not my day-to-day job, but I'm a huge virtual reality enthusiast. So I really like being at VR Days Europe, telling people about the challenges that virtual reality has, because for me that's one of those things where if you don't care about the small technical details, then the end result, so the content, the great content that you might be producing.
And then like small technical details being the millisecond
Exactly,
part.
those small technical details are the milliseconds. And the fact that there's a ton of people out there who are building amazing content for virtual reality, but that content might be hindered by some technical issues. So for me as a virtual reality enthusiast and also like working at NVIDIA, obviously, we are caring about every millisecond. We want to make the VR experience as good as we can for everybody, and that includes both the content side of things and the technical side of things in terms of squeezing every millisecond out of that pipeline.
And being such an enthusiastic, what would you like dream of to create with virtual reality?
I've always dreamed of it's not really a game, it's an experience where you are a time traveler and you are reliving important moments of history. So for example, the sinking of the Titanic.
You would go back to the sinking of the Titanic?
I would go back to the sinking of the Titanic. I would go back to the sinking of the Titanic. I want to see things like Chernobyl happening right in front of my eyes, because those things tend to be forgotten after a long while. But they were very, very important events in the history of mankind. And being able to see them through virtual reality will be a very, very powerful experience. And if you can combine that with an intriguing story and good characters, I think it's gonna be a good thing. I still have the script written somewhere in my hometown.
I can't wait till it's happening. Thank you so much for your time.